All right, so the Active Life program is designed to help women specifically restore confidence, reclaim their energy, and lead an active life. The reason that we say this is that we truly do believe that you have to become the expert on your own health in order to lead your families. Because again, we believe that women are the unsung heroes of their family. And this isn't to say that males don't have a part. Males have a huge part in a family. But more importantly, if you're a female, you naturally have a tendency to be a caregiver to everyone around you. You know, research has shown that when mothers give birth to their children, that they literally have DNA hardwired into each other and they feel similar things that their children are feeling. They have much more empathy than the male does just because they birthed them, they carried them, they helped to create them. And so this leads to this natural propensity to give of yourself to a point of maybe even potential harm. And so what we want to really do is to help women become the expert on their own health. But more importantly than that, we have to, people always ask me like, why women? And it's like, when I had my private practice, women would come into my office all the time and their doctors are telling them to diet and exercise, and they're offering them medications like antidepressants or maybe some hormone replacement therapy, and they just weren't seeing results because it wasn't getting at the root cause as to why they're having, these issues to begin with. And so this is just a brief hormonal imbalance timeline. And just to kind of set the stage here, hormones act as messenger molecules. They are responding to your environment. And so whenever you're stressed out, whenever you're not sleeping, whenever you're drinking too much caffeine, all these things start to compound and your hormones are trying to read the environment. And so if you're stressed, you have more cortisol, you have less progesterone. If you're having long-term sleep deprivation issues, now you're going to be relying more on cortisol as well, and you stop making as much sex hormones, or you start creating more androgens, which is more common in things like PCOS, or you start having a buildup or a poor methylation or poor balance to your other estrogens, and you get more estrogen dominance. And all these things can start to occur just because your environment is not suitable for hormonal balance. And so this is where we typically start to see is women start to sacrifice, healthy foods for convenient foods, or exercising for more sitting down on the couch, or just taking care of their children or their grandchildren because they, that's all they can do. That's all they have time for. And it starts to lead to, an imbalanced environment around you. The next thing you know, your sleep's impaired. And again, your sex hormones become impaired. You start gaining weight. You start noticing these external signs. You start having facial hair or acne or whatever the case is. And this leads to a ton of frustration because your doctor doesn't know how to fix it. You don't know how to fix it, and you're going to the expert and they're not giving you much sound advice. And so you get frustrated, and it leads to a vicious cycle of more of the same problem. And this is why about 80% of females specifically are seeing hormonal imbalances. And again, this is just to show you that it can be a thyroid issue, it can be an adrenal fatigue, it can be menopause, it can be, PCOS. All these things can be symptoms of poor hormonal imbalance, but hormonal imbalance is not the root cause. All the things that I just mentioned before, your environment, all those particular things can be the potential root cause that we have to start addressing. So the way in which we do this to help you is that we provide support. We want to make sure that you are getting the tools that you need. And this is not just about information. I have to really express this clearly. This is not about information necessarily. We want to make sure that you're getting the right information and getting help with implementation consistently enough so that this information, the right information, is being applied at the right time to get you the results that you need to thrive and to succeed. That's how we do it. And that's we use different methods with technology and community groups and, access to me and messaging to me, all those kind of things. But in reality, what it is we want to make sure you're getting the right information at the right time for the right amount of time. So typical results that we see within the first, 4 weeks is usually about a 10 to 15, 12 pound weight loss, somewhere in there. Obviously, it's going to depend on where you started. If you only have 10 pounds to lose, you're going to see much less weight loss than that. Probably at 8%, 8% to 10% weight loss difference is what you'd see. But if you have 50 pounds, 60 pounds, a 10 pound weight loss is not unreasonable, especially because usually women that are having that kind of weight gain are seeing issues with inflammation. They're seeing issues with poor detoxification. They're seeing issues with poor body composition. And so initially that first weight loss is going to be a lot of inflammation. And then we start to focus more on metabolism and shedding weight from a body composition perspective of burning excess fat. When it comes to, energy and pain and hours slept, this is typically what we see, just to kind of give you some real world examples. An energy increase of 60% kind of looks like, before in the afternoon, you had to take a nap, you were exhausted. Now you don't need to take a nap and you feel pretty good. Or, you felt pretty bad, you wanted to take a nap, you couldn't take a nap, and now you're feeling like, hey, I can go exercise. And the biggest question you're facing is, what do I do with this extra energy? That's a question I get a lot, which is the best question I could ever get. The other thing is, a pain reduction where it's like my knees used to hurt, my joints used to hurt. Now they don't hurt quite as bad, or they hurt significantly less. And then hours slept, it's like a 25% increase from 6 hours to 7 or 7.5 is about a 25% increase is kind of what we typically see. This is a toxicity score we have you fill out once you sign up in the program. This is just to see kind of where you are to begin with from a subjective perspective, kind of how you feel about you. And then this is kind of where we see it trend downwards over the course of 6 months. And so as you can see, a pretty drastic downward trend, which is fantastic. But the biggest question is this program for you? And that's what the point of this video is I want to save you the time. More importantly, I want to save both of us the time. I value my time a lot. You value your time a lot. It's it's the best currency we have in this world. And it's always being at a loss as time goes on. So like the longer we live, the more we lose. And so we want to make sure that we're maintaining as much of this time currency as possible. And that's why I do this video, so that you can decide if you even want to schedule a call with me. Because if you're watching this is like, hey, this guy, he talks too fast, which sometimes I do and I'm excited, or he doesn't seem like he knows what he's talking about, I don't really agree with his principles, I don't really think this is right for me, then you just don't schedule a call, you save it for somebody else, and they can enroll in the program, and we can all be happy and healthy and move forward. But as far as requirements, what I'm looking for from a clinical perspective is, typically women in the program are 40 and above, but we do have some women that are early 30s. I think we even have someone who's in her late 20s. But most of the women in the program are 40 to 60, kind of in that age range. And I think the oldest woman that we have in the program is 76, at least last I checked. So a wide range, but more importantly, it's about the kind of symptoms you're dealing with and your motivation to fix it. So chronic pain, chronic fatigue, that's a very common symptom we see. If you have a diagnosis of hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, any kind of autoimmune disorder like lupus or fibromyalgia, MS, like those kind of things, gut health problems like IBS, diverticulitis, SIBO, those kind of conditions are very common in this program. If you're having sleep problems, I'm guessing if you're watching this video and you're having hormonal imbalances, you likely have some form of a sleep impairment, whether you wake up tired or you feel like you have a hard time falling asleep or staying asleep, or you wake up with hot flashes, wake up to go to the bathroom multiple times a night, that would classify as a sleep problem. If you're currently on medications, looking to get off medications, or if you were recently on medications, whatever the case is, that's kind of a criteria that we like to see. Obviously, if you're frustrated, you want to move forward, you're frustrated, but you're motivated to kind of improve these things, and you're seeking a natural approach. I don't prescribe medications. My goal is to help you get away from medications. And one of the things that, medications in my mind are something that we work with you and your doctor to help you get off of safely, and we do it the right way. And so that's why you have access to us, is we want to make sure you have an advocate for yourself to kind of know what to be expecting, what questions to ask your doctor, and how to safely get these medications to go away. Most recently I did a video about a lady who was, she lost 52 pounds, got off 9 medications, and did all that in about 4 months time, and is, better than she's ever been in regards to her health. So it's very possible. We want to help you with these kind of things. And that's the kind of people we're looking to work with. And obviously you have a community support. You don't have to utilize the community support, but we have found that the women that are most successful typically engage with the community. But I do have several members of this program that are often not on the calls. They don't really message me too often. They just implement what I tell them to do, or what they read in the program, and they see the results and they move on with their life, and they're happy. That's totally cool as well. So that's the kind of focus we're looking for. The other thing is just that you're looking for more of a long-term outcome versus a short-term result. Like, we really want you to be focused on becoming a healthier person overall, and not just like, I'm trying to lose 30 pounds for my wedding, and that's like my outcome result that I'm looking for. Like, that's fine, but it's not a great goal for the long term to be successful long term. And then obviously that you're willing to ask questions, you're willing to ask for help, and then you're willing to share your success once you see it. Those are 2 requirements that I really ask for, is you share your struggles and share your success. You can share it with me anonymously, you can share it with the world. But really what my hope is that once you start to see the changes for yourself, you can start to help this change the circles around you, because people, other women, maybe daughters or granddaughters that need help as well, and that you're willing to share what you know with them and start to impact your circles, because that's how we really make a big ripple effect across this world. And that's really the biggest purpose with this program, is we want to start seeing a change. We want to start seeing truth implemented so people can experience a change and live an active and free life. That's really what we're hoping for here. But people always ask me, what is a program? What do I get? Basically, what you get is you get a consult with me. So like we would talk. You would provide me any kind of lab information you've had over the last 6 months to a year, any kind of supplements you're taking, medications you're taking. We would go over that. We'd create a plan as far as where to start. We would then provide you with the custom meal plan that I've created to kind of help with inflammation, help with your energy, help with detoxification. And we give you all the grocery list, all the things to buy, how to prepare it. And we give it to you so you can start with that right away. So you can just kind of eliminate all the confusion and frustration with, what to eat, what recipes to get, what kind of groceries to buy, all that kind of stuff. We try to just give that to you. Then obviously we want to start with your sleep. As you're starting to work on your gut health and your food and your inflammation and your weight, we then start to improve your sleep and make sure you're getting deep, sufficient quality sleep each night, whether it's with the use of supplements or hygiene principles or whatever you need is kind of what we start with. And then once we start addressing those two core foundational pillars is when we start to focus more on weight loss specific issues, like with fasting, supplements that would be helpful for that, and just kind of how to start honing in on your specific needs to address insulin resistance or just to help speed up your metabolism. And again, that's an individual process that will kind of be custom to what your needs are. And obviously, once we kind of go through that, we then start to focus more on the community aspect and just trying to make sure that we're maintaining your implementation, and that you're reaching out when you have questions, that you're sharing your victories when you see them, and that you just feel supported. So again, I want you to think about, this is not so much about what you get as opposed to the results that you're trying to see. So if you just think it's like, hey, I'm paying for, this is information I get, this is what I'm paying to get this information, that may not be a linear transaction. And it will be a very linear transaction, because if you're just doing this for that doesn't make sense. What I would hope for you the way that you should picture this is like, you pay this amount of money and you get this kind of value or this kind of result. And that's everything in between is the value that you're receiving with this program. And so again, it's not information. It's the right information being implemented at the right time, and doing so for a long enough time horizon to see the results that you need to live the life that you want. And that's the kind of result you should be achieving. And if you're not achieving that, you're not seeing those results, we want to make sure you do. We want to make sure you're satisfied. We want to make sure you're completely happy with all this stuff. And so obviously we give you a ton of information. We have weekly Q&As, we have custom meal planning, we have the custom protocols for supplements, we have messaging with me and the team to kind of make sure you're getting the answers to your questions when you need them on the spot, versus having to schedule an appointment 6 weeks down the road, like most times you have to do with your doctor. We want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips. We want to make sure that you have this program in the access of your phone. So we have our own app that we've created just for this program, so you can get at the information, you can message me when you have questions, you can share your victories, you can reach out to the community. All these things are in the app, and so it makes it very convenient for you to be able to get access to them when you need it, versus having to wait for an appointment, a month or two down the road. And obviously, that's kind of what's all included. This program that I'm speaking to at this point is a 6-week program. It's a hormonal reset, and it's really designed for people who are unsure, that maybe are not sure if this is going to work for them, who maybe aren't so sure of me, whatever the case is, you can be completely honest. But we want to eliminate all potential stumbling blocks that would keep you from being successful, because most times we are the ones that prevent us from taking action. We don't think that we have what it takes. We are unsure that it's going to work for us. We lack confidence. And this keeps us in a paralyzed state where we do nothing. And this is the opposite of what I want you to do. And so at the very minimum, you can at least decide that, hey, the Active Life program is not for me. And you can move on to the next one and decide if that one's for you. But I do not want you to be paralyzed and not do anything. Like that kind of behavior is often what has put you in this position to begin with, is because there's so much information, you don't know what to believe, you don't know what's true, and you end up doing nothing. And so I would rather you be like, hey, this sounds good. I like what he's talking about. I think it's the right thing for me. I'm going to try it. So what we do, if that's where you are, which I hope you are at this point, first we have to make sure we have availability because of the nature of this program and the intimate level of communication I provide. I can't do it for hundreds and hundreds of people. But usually every time I do one of these calls, I'm looking for 4 to 6 people to join at that point in time. And so there is availability. You just have to make sure that you're not waiting too long and you're jumping on it while you still can and taking full advantage. But the guarantee that I offer to you to kind of help push you along, and again, I want you to feel like this is I'd be stupid to say no to this offer. Like that's kind of the way I want you to feel about this. Is there's a money back guarantee. So it's like you go through this process, you're getting into it, and you're realizing this isn't for you, that you feel like this isn't a good time, then you can ask for your money back. But the only thing that I ask is that you reach out to me and you tell me what's going on. If you're like, hey, I'm struggling with this particular thing, or this doesn't make sense to me, or I don't know what to do here, I can walk you through it and I can make sure you know what to do so you can actually see the results that you want. And that's the point of it, right? It's not just to sign up for the information and get more information. It's to actually see results. So if you sign up for this program and you're just trying to take advantage of me, you definitely can. And I've had 2% of my clients in the past take advantage of me, and it was kind of painful, but I got through it. And all I'm trying to say is that if you want to take this leap of faith and pursue this program, I would love to talk to you and to see if this would be a good fit for you. But based on this information here, I hope that you already have an idea if this is going to work. And all we have to do is kind of finalize your enrollment into the program. But 100% guarantee on this money back deal. I just want you to be satisfied. I want you to see results. And I want you to feel like, you wouldn't go buy a house if you weren't able to kind of walk through it and do a test run and do an inspection. Like that's kind of how I view this. Is I want you to go through it, not take advantage of me, truly want to see results. And if you are, we'll figure it out. We'll make this work for you. And if you're not satisfied, boom, there's your money back. So that's how I view it. And I hope that makes sense to you guys.